Welcome to Keeping It Real Talk Show. Your host, Tim Williams, and your co-host, LaGrace Williams. Now let's go into the show. Welcome to Keeping It Real. Our topic for today is My Life, My Struggle. So how you been doing, LaGrace?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I'm awesome.
You know, earlier we was doing bloopers, right? And we were talking about, our first show was done at the funeral home. And so we started having some problems, things wasn't going right. And
we
so
were in there with dead people. That's the truth. It was two dead people that were there with us, and we shot our first. And we're grateful. Don't get it wrong. We're grateful for the opportunity, but we know we had to move forward.
Yeah, we had some problems. Organs started tearing up. Microphones started going out. And, I looked at LaGrace and I said, man, see if you wouldn't have started singing,
I didn't sing on that one, but I'm sure if you guys want to stream YouTube, you will see Evangelist Temple on there and him singing. I don't sing, so that's not me.
But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to place that from the studio on there. You remember?
Oh, wow. You guys, I experienced my first time in the studio. I wanted to go in the booth. So I got to go in, and the funny thing is I was singing so great they couldn't even find my key, but it's okay. So we was just happy for that experience too.
Right.
But to get to the show, we hope that you guys enjoy it, and it's a great experience for everyone. So sit back and wait.
Today is Maria Lawford. So how you doing today, Miss
Hey,
Maria?
Hello.
Glad to have you on
the
the
show,
set.
Maria.
Thank you. I'm stoked. I'm excited, and I'm excited to be here. So
Right.
I'm ready to talk about my struggle.
Your struggle. Ooh, girl.
No, that is my struggle.
Right.
This is her struggle, y'all.
That's right. You got to make it personal,
Personal.
Because a lot of times people will talk about somebody else's struggle,
Right.
what somebody else has been through, and
Right.
sometimes you have to make that thing personal.
That's right. And that's the biggest thing. Like when the opportunity came to be with you guys, it was for once I was like, just for a moment I can talk about my life and my struggle because everyone does enough of it for me. I just want to be able to do it myself,
And sometimes, a lot of times, people look on the outside and don't know what's on the inside and what we've been through to smile like we smile and to be how we are. So we're definitely interested in hearing your life and your struggle, girl. We are so excited.
Yes.
So excited. So excited.
So tell us a little something about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Panama City, so grew up on the beach, and scenery completely different than where we are now in Elba, town. But just grew up searching, just grew up looking, grew up trying to find something, and didn't even know really what it was. I came from a broken home, single mom, just trying to put food on the table, I had an older sister, and so, I modeled everything I did after her, she was 4 years older than me, so she was my idol. She was everything. So whatever she was going to do, I was going to do. And so, it started off, when you're young and you're trying to learn, and you don't necessarily have someone to teach you, because, parents are working or you're being, being raised in a single home or whatever it need be, whatever it is for you, you just do it.
Right.
You don't know what you don't know, and so you just start trying. And that's really how my life started was just trying to figure things out on my own. And by the age of 12, doing it on my own got me selling drugs at a real young age. And just even trying to help my mom put food on the table. I realized there was a high need for pharmaceutical pills, out on the streets.
Right.
And my mom took a lot of medication because of her disabilities. And when I put the two together, I was like, hey, I can sell her pills and make electricity bill. It wasn't because I was a bad person, or I was trying to do bad. I was trying to make it.
You were hustling.
I was just trying to make it. I was trying to get something. I wanted something other than ramen, to be honest.
Right.
And that's really how my life started was, at the age of 12, an easy way to make money. Um, Started a avalanche, just a big snowball of what my life turned into before I met God when I turned 19. And there's so much in between that maybe we can even talk about tonight and share, because it's what molded and shaped me into finding God.
Right.
It's what put walls up and made me very manipulative, very controlling. I was hurt, and life was tough, and
Right.
men and women and things, and just people hurt me.
Right.
And maybe they didn't mean to, but they did. And then I'm sure I hurt a lot of people along the way too.
Right.
But it started building and festering inside my heart, and it was tough because I didn't know what to do,
Right.
and I didn't have anyone to turn to.
Let me ask you this. Earlier you said you was raised in a single parent home.
Mhm.
That's what I gathered out of you,
Yeah. Yeah.
as you begin to speak. Now, being raised in a single parent home, so you was just with your mom,
I was with my mom and my older sister.
the older sister.
Mhm.
So, in that single parent home, was there any hurt develop or any what's the word, LaGrace? Besides hurt, you had some
I had
trust.
some junk.
Yeah, so we can call it junk.
Yeah, I had some junk.
You know what
I
I'm
had
saying?
some trust issues. I had some anger. I had some hurt. I had a lot of unforgiveness.
Right.
Because as a child, you see, mom and dad and perfect little families, what you see on the outside that you
Right.
think is
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, very true.
And so I would see that, and I would be angry. Like why didn't my mom and dad stay together?
Right.
And so I had a lot building up. Being in a single family home, however you would say it. And it was tough. And so I think at times probably I got mad and angry with my mom. And as a woman, I think that she tried to do her best. And being how God created things, she was always trying to find someone to fill that role. So then there was a lot of jealousy that even entered in my heart, at a young age too, because it was like she ain't got time for me because she's working, but then when she's not working, she's doing this. It was a vicious cycle.
That's right. That's right.
It was a vicious cycle.
And that tends to be, as we was talking before, coming on the set, asking you questions.
Yeah.
I can reflect back because I was raised in a single parent home, and I discussed with you that there was some hurt there.
Yeah.
I even started taking because I was trying to find love, that
Right.
father love,
Right.
and like we said earlier, a lot of people, they don't understand what it's like to grow up in a single parent home,
Yeah.
and especially when mom has to do everything and the
Mhm.
father's nowhere around,
Right.
it plays a major part,
It's not. It's almost like it's not justifying anything, but it can help someone understand something to the point of why people make certain choices.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not because they're possessed by some demon or they're just horrible or it's just because they don't know, and the consequences of other people's choices have handed them a hand of cards that they're just staring at, trying to figure out.
That's right.
A lot of emotions I think come to a lot of teenagers, even not just small kids, but teenagers who are raised in a single parent, with a single parent.
Yeah.
They're searching for that void, and that's what I did. I was looking for love
In the wrong places.
in every wrong place
In wrong.
you could
Could
think
you
of.
tell us a little bit about that if you don't mind?
I don't mind. I wanted to be loved so bad, and I actually shared this with Tim before set. I didn't know what love was.
Right.
So first of all, I had Hollywood telling me what love was. I had Lil Wayne telling me what love was. I had everyone telling me what love was.
Right.
So I was trying to feel that and find that and grab a hold of that.
Right.
And at the point, where I was and not know anything about God, I didn't really care what color love came in, what gender it came in, what form. Like I just knew something that made me feel because I was so numb.
That's fine.
That's what I thought love was.
Right.
And so I began to date a female. I began to sell and use drugs. I began to do all these things not because I was just some horrible person, but because
Trying to fill that
I was
void.
just trying to find someone to love
Somebody
on
to
me,
love
you know.
you.
And these are the things that kept coming in my life that was filling it, and it sucks because I think back and I'm like, man, all it did was momentarily, it just momently, is that the word? It just for a moment,
For a moment.
just for a moment, and then it was like hustle the next day, got to get back the next day, got to feel that, and it left me with that continual lust for more, just got to get it again, and again, it's a vicious cycle, and being young and not having anyone really to talk to, I didn't know how to break the cycle, I didn't know how, yeah, so it was tough and dealing with, I think, mostly the emotions of anger and bitterness and I think lonely. I was really lonely, and anyone around me would be like, man, she's popular.
Right.
Like I'd walk in the room and like I owned it,
Right.
and a lot of that has to do with my older sister. She set the stage for me. She was in a gang, and like I had a lot of protection,
Right.
and so it was easy for me to live life where I was at and get what I wanted but at the end of the day when I would lay my head down at night I was so lonely like I was hurt and I was
So
broken.
all that stuff it still didn't do it.
It still didn't.
It's just like
It didn't.
it's like a cycle,
Yeah.
and you keep going and going and doing the same
Yeah.
thing. It's like it's called insanity.
It is.
Yeah,
It
you
is.
keep doing the same thing and get the
It
same
is.
result.
It is.
But it feels good at the time,
At
right?
the time, yeah.
Right,
and,
it feels good. So
and I think when I reflect back, because I'm still, trying to today even, is still a struggle. Every day for me, my life is a struggle. I have learned, today, why I struggle with the things that I struggle with because, I met the Lord when I was 19, but before that, I had 19 years of opening door after door after door. I'd done tasted, my flesh had tasted something that felt good for a season, for a minute, and so, sometimes in my walk with God even now, and just having a day or so, that flesh, that little devil that sits on your little shoulder, you'll be like, hey, you remember that time?
you can go
You
back
remember
to
that time?
it. You can
I'll
go
be
back
hearing
to
that
it.
song, I'll be like, oh, I remember that time, and it feels good for a minute, but then
That
I
second.
got to grab a hold of that thought, but whoa, do you really remember that time? Because that time you ended up in jail, and you ended up over here,
Right,
you know,
right.
and you forget about all those things, and so, it